In this episode of American Giants,
I got a comment from Summer Bates in Dodge City, Kansas, and she informed me that she had the Dennis Hopper Muffler Men, and she actually was inviting us to come out and see them. I was like, road trip.
Why aren't we moving?
Around 1962, a fiberglass company in Venice, California started making giant Paul Bunyan figures for businesses to use as attention getters. After a few sales and a nice write-up in a trade magazine, their business took off. Over the next 10 years, over 400 of these fiberglass giants were sold across America. Now, 40 years later, and with fewer than 200 left, they remind us of a time before digital billboards and the internet. A time when businesses used giant roadside architecture to catch your attention. My name is Joel Baker. I travel across America searching for what has become known as the Muffler Man. The places they have been and the stories they hold fascinate me. And I never know what I'm gonna find as I look for the remaining American giants.
So it's like a Monday or Tuesday. I'm sitting, at work, working, and Joel comes up to me. He's like, "Hey, the Muffler Men thing on Shipping Wars, it's gonna air tonight. I got an email, blah, blah, blah." I'm like, "Oh, that's really cool, Joel." Then, the next day, he got an email from a woman who was involved in the Shipping Wars episode in Kansas, in Dodge City. She's part of the...
I started the American Giants website around October, and by January it was really starting to roll. In February I wrote an article called "What Are Muffler Men?" and it kind of went over the basics and the history of Muffler Men. Finally, on June 19th, I got a comment from Summer Bates in Dodge City, Kansas, and she informed me that she had the Dennis Hopper Muffler Men, and she actually was inviting us to come out and see them. When I first started getting into Muffler Men, and I saw that first one in Dade City, from my first Muffler Man up until maybe my 30th Muffler Man sighting, it was just a hobby. I had no thought of American Giants or YouTube episodes or anything of that nature. I think around my 20th sighting or so, in the late teens there, found me in Los Angeles. And Los Angeles, of course, is the area where Muffler Men were made. International Fiberglass was located in Venice, California. And so a lot of these giants were local delivery. And I didn't waste any time once I got to Los Angeles and starting to one by one go through these Muffler Men and visit them. And the one that really stands out in my mind is the Malibu Muffler Man. And this guy's really got some interesting history. He's one of the more well-known Muffler Men. He started out life as a Frosty Freeze Muffler Man. This Burger Man was a full-size Muffler Man that International Fiberglass made, complete with a little cat. I've looked at old International Fiberglass advertising, and you can see him in his original condition back then before the transformation. The Malibu Muffler Man became an icon of the area. For years, people recognized the giant there standing at the business. And finally, that business closed after many years in operation. And in 1987, there was a man named Howdy. And Howdy wanted to start this kind of fresh Mexican restaurant, a healthy, maybe alternative, if you will. He purchased the building that had formerly housed the Frosty Freeze, and the giant was still standing there. So instead of tearing him down and getting rid of him, he had the idea, why don't I convert this guy into a Mexican waiter? And so he got a hold of Daddy-O Wade, Bob Wade. He's an artist that has done all kinds of huge figures or sculptures or artwork across America. Bob really got creative with the project, and he made all kinds of alterations. He took that burger bun, sliced it in half, used part of it for the tray bottom. He flipped the top half of the bun upside down and used it for the hat. And there's a whole bunch of different things he did to transform this soda jerk into a Mexican waiter. And today you can still see what we call the Malibu Man standing there in Malibu. In my searchings online, I had discovered that there were really two Mexican waiter looking muffler men, and this was confusing to me at first. I thought they were one and the same, but then I noticed one had a bow tie on and the other one did not. And so after doing a bunch of digging, I realized that Dennis Hopper had made, around 2001, made copies of two muffler men that he found inspiring. He used a muffler man called Tony, who is also in Los Angeles and who also has a bow tie, to make a mold that he made two more muffler men from for some of his exhibits.
Joe came to us and said that someone in Dodge City had two muffler men from someone famous that owned those, and they're like really expensive or something. Well, when I heard we are going to go, I was like, road trip.
I pitched the idea of going to Dodge City to Bo and Neto, expecting them to say, yeah, right. But they didn't. They were actually completely excited about it. And that's when the gears really started to turn, and we thought, well, you know, maybe we can do this. Maybe we can go out there to Dodge City and see these Dennis Hopper Muffler Men who'd been in the warehouse for years, and now we're finally in public once more.
So, you know, over a couple of days, Joel's like, oh, this would be a lot of fun. You know, we could get some great stuff. And I'm all for it. You know, I had fun on the last couple of trips we've been on. So we did. We all piled into my tiny little, like, Honda Fit. And we brought our friend slash coworker Sam with us and showed him the ropes as far as muffler man chasing goes.
Tire pressure is fine. This little guy is going to get us all the way to Kansas and back. Piece of plastic. I forget exactly how many hours it was, maybe between 10 and 14 hours. It was a long haul and it required us to drive all night. And Bo started out, I think, the first 3 hours driving, and then he and Sam were out.
So Bo Carnegie took the first shift, and everyone is talking and everyone is joking. I'm the next one driving. As soon as I grab the steering wheel, it's dead quiet. Everyone goes to sleep. I didn't. I drove a lot. Then the next one was Joel, and he drove a lot. The only one who would say something would be me asking him if he was awake. I would just be like, Joe, is everything okay? Are you awake? Good.
I've never been so just dead tired in my life. Finally, the sun came up and I was in Kansas. You're just driving along and there's just nothing out there. And there's nothing worse than being dead tired and looking around the car and everyone's just sound asleep. There's no one to talk to you to keep you awake.
Everyone's sleeping.
Gone.
There's nothing worse than a quiet car in the middle of the night. Everyone's sleeping.
Where are we at? Okay.
Why aren't we moving?
So here we are, myself and the American Giants crew, Sam, Neto, and Bo have finally arrived in Dodge City. We have traveled all night to get here, and we're here to see the Dennis Hopper Muffler Men. They were brought about a month ago from California, and they're here now at the Western State Bank Expo Center here in Dodge City at the 3i Show. The 3i Show, this is its second year at this location, and they've been kind enough to allow the Muffler Men to be exhibited here during the show. So we're going to go in, we're going to meet the people that the Muffler Men were donated to, the Carnegie Center for the Arts here in Dodge City, and we're going to check out the Muffler Men for the first time up close. They've been in storage all these years, so it's going to be nice to see them. I think the first thing that hit me was the enormity of the place. You know, Summer had told us about the convention, and that's where the Muffler Men were temporarily housed. But it wasn't until we got there that we really realized how big the 3I convention is each year in Dodge City.
It stands for Industry Implements and Irrigation. It is 59 years old, in its 59th year. Started in Hays, Kansas, and alternated in several cities for several years. There are many, many exhibits here. There's over 1,000 companies represented from 30 states and several foreign countries. Many companies, mostly ag-related companies, come to the 3I show, and many have been coming, believe it or not, that entire 59-year span.
It's a farm expo, and all we see are tractors and farm equipment and people that look like they live in farms.
The merchants have these booths set up to demo like all kinds of equipment. I told Neto I was completely out of my element. I'm an indoor kid. I had no idea what any of this stuff was.
So this lady drive us through the place and show what is what and where things are, and we drove through the whole thing, and I don't think I really connected to the place as much as I wanted to because I couldn't understand most of the stuff. I knew what was the difference in between a tractor and a car.
One of the people Summer Bates had been working with in organizing the possibility of the American Giants team coming out there was Melissa McCoy. She wasted no time in taking our crew through that big convention. They have a huge building there that houses many of the booths, all the different displays as we followed Melissa through the aisles. And finally, there in front of us were the Muffler Men, the giant La Salsa Man. That was the copy from the one in Malibu. And then a much lesser known Muffler Man called Mobile Man that was standing to the right.
Hi. How are you doing? Good. Nice to meet you, Joel. So glad you guys are here.
Thanks for having us.
Sure.
So what do you have here?
Well, this is La Salsa Man. Back in November, I got this certified letter from the Dennis Hopper Art Trust. Well, it wasn't what I expected, because when I opened it, there's this letter talking about these two massive sculptures that Dennis had created.
First one was a little hard to put together. Second one went together right away. Dennis Hopper, of course, born and lived maybe his first 10 years here in Dodge City. A lot of people here remember him as a child, and he went on to be famous for his artwork. So it's part of our diversity, I think, of exhibits and art in Dodge City, and we're real proud to have them.
We've had lots of requests from groups to come and view them. We have had a lot of Dennis Hopper fans, a lot of fans of Muffler Men. They're a great draw to our community.